Hello, I am Mr. PJ Patil, working as a lecturer in Sharad Institute of Technology. Today, I am going to explain the process of specimen preparation for microscopic examination, which is under the course Mechanical Engineering Material. First of all, let me introduce about what is metallography. Metallography is the study of microstructure of all types of metallic alloy, typically using microscope. While preparing the sample, is the more essential part of microscopy, and there are many techniques that can be used. Incorrect techniques in preparation of sample may result in altering the true microstructure and will most likely lead to erroneous conclusion. The basic sample preparation process consists of sectioning, mounting, coarse and fine grinding, polishing, likewise. So it can be more precisely defined as the scientific discipline of observing the determining the chemical and atomic structure. Metallurgical sample preparation is a key step in performing reliable metallurgical testing. A typical microscope is as shown in the figure, where you can observe the microstructure through these different lenses. There are three objective lenses are shown in the figure, and here is a eyepiece where we are going to observe the microstructure from this eyepiece. Okay, this is a switch which controls the light. This is illumination. So, and this is a coarse adjustment and fine adjustment, where you adjust the position of workpiece from the lens. Once you put the workpiece over this table, and you can adjust the length from lens by means of this coarse adjustment and fine adjustment knob. Okay, next slide. So what is the purpose of specimen preparation for microscopic examination? We have to find the various phase present in a material. Means if you observe the iron carbon diagram, so you may find that percentage of pearlite and ferrite present in a microstructure of cast iron and steel are different. So that may lead to various phases present in material. To find out approximate strength and hardness, you may get the idea about the approximate strength and hardness, because as we process a material, that means when we heat treat a material, its strength and hardness changes. So heat treatment process leads change in microstructure. To find out approximate composition of material, so if you need to understand what is the composition, that means percentage of ferrite, pearlite, cementite, likewise. To find out the reason of failure of material, so sometimes what happens, the composition may alter, and that may lead to failure of material. The change in the composition which is not as per the requirement can be observed by using this microscopic examination. So selection of piece from given specimen. The first step is to you have to select the material. It is important to study the something that is representative of the whole specimen. A simple part, a piece of that specimen should represent the whole element. Next, cutting of that representative part must also be done very carefully, as it is representing the whole specimen, or it is representing the whole part. It has to be very careful while cutting. So this is a kind of microscopic examination of copper specimen grounded with 800 grit paper. So what are the different steps in sample preparation? Generally, it consists of 5 steps. Sectioning, it also involves cutting, then mounting, next is grinding, then polishing, and lastly etching. So this is the process of microscopic examination. First of all, you have to go for cutting or slicing of the sample, where you are going to use the cutting wheels, then mounting on the some other material, that is compression molds or cold mounts can be used here with a choice of epoxy materials. So next is rough polishing, fine polishing. Number of steps are required as per the material. Rough polishing, fine polishing, then cleaning, and lastly etching. And after etching, you can go for microscopic examination. So this is the process, how it will work: cutting, mounting, grinding, polishing, then there will be etching, and finally metalloscopy. So first of all, what is cutting? In cutting, sectioning is offered. Okay, the best solution to eliminate these undesirable features. The resultant surface is smooth and sectioning task is quickly accomplished. Means first of all, what you have to do, you have to select the workpiece, okay, from which you are taking a sample. Okay, from a particular part you are taking a sample, so you have to cut it from the parent material. So the first step is cutting. Low speed cutoff wheels are utilized in case where the heat created by the standard abrasive cutters must be avoided. This is the important task, as if you are using a cutting wheel and for cutting the material, like as shown in the figure, if cutting speed is increased, the heat produced between workpiece and that cutter will be more, which may lead to heat treatment of that material, and once it is heat treated, the composition may change. So to avoid the change in the composition of that material, we have to use low speed cutoff wheels. Okay, and also to reduce the heat created, we have to use ample amount of coolant, and proper speed control are essential in all sectioning operations. Next process is mounting. A mounted specimen usually has a thickness of about half its diameter to prevent rocking during grinding and polishing. Once the specimen is prepared by cutting or slicing, it has to be mounted on some epoxy materials or some wooden parts you can use for mounting. So the purpose of mounting is to avoid the rocking during grinding and polishing. Means you have to insert the specimen into some mold. So this mount is shown as it works as a mold for this specimen, as specimen is surrounded by this material, which will protect from vibrations that are going to create while grinding and polishing. The edge of mounted specimen should be rounded to minimize the damage to grinding and polishing discs. Okay, so the edges of mounted sample are rounded using coarse paper. In mounting, small or oddly shaped specimens are mounted to facilitate easy handling during preparation and examination. In the figure, they are shown the specimen as a circular part, cylindrical part, but not every time this is we get the material as a cylindrical. It may be of any shape, any size, so we have to cut it and take it as a sample, and that sample we can mount with any shape into this cylindrical mold. That is mounting process. When the specimen to be tested is inexpensive and easily available, a suitable size specimen may be cut and polished for examination. Next, standard mounts usually measure 25 mm, 32 mm or 38 mm diameter. Depending upon the material and size of specimen, we can select the diameter of standard mounts. Then bakelite and Daliel phthalate are thermosetting resins, which are most widely used as molding materials. Transparent methyl methacrylate, polystyrene, polyvinyl chloride are some of the thermoplastic resins used in molding. Both requires heat and pressure during molding. Thermosetting molds can be ejected from the molds at the molding temperature, while thermoplastic resins must be cooled to ambient temperature under pressure. The process is similar to plastic molding. You have to first take a material and it is to be heated at a required temperature that may lead to plastic deformation of that material, and at ambient temperature under pressure we can mount the material into the mount. So these are the different materials that can be used as a mount, which comes under thermoplastic resins. So properties of the mounting material, these are some types, that is phenolics, acrylics and epoxy materials. It should not influence the specimen as a result of chemical reaction. It should not impart any mechanical stresses. It should not adhere well to the specimen. So as per the availability of these properties or as per the requirement, we can select the proper material as a mount. You can observe this table, different mounts with different properties. So next process is the grinding. Once material is mounted on the mount, it requires to take to the grinding. To prepare the cut surface suitably for metallographic examination as optically flat, reflective, smooth and scratch-free surface. Okay, once we have cut the material, there will be scratching marks on the surface. So in order to remove that, we require grinding process, and after which polishing will be used. Grinding removes saw marks and levels and cleans the specimen. So grinding means to prepare the cut surface suitable for metallography examination as typically flat, reflective, smooth and scratch-free surface. So in grinding, use abrasive particles whose projecting points act as the cutting tools. So in this wheel there are abrasive particles which are bonded together, and that particles will act as a cutting tools. The abrasive particles are cemented together into a block whose exposed surface is a working surface. So this exposed surface is a working surface. So the examples of this abrasive material are cut-off wheels, grinding wheels, abrasive laps and abrasive stones. Mostly grinding wheel is used for grinding, and after that sometimes emery papers are used, which will act as a layer of abrasive particles cemented on a cloth or paper backing, creating coated abrasive product. So lastly, grinding employ high surface speed where heating of the surface may occur. So in order to minimize the heat produced during the grinding, we have to use low surface speed, hence no significant heating will be takes place. So this is the grinding. Sometimes a belt is used. After removing the scratches with the help of the bench grinder, then the specimen through 90° and again grind into a belt grinder to remove scratches formed by the wheels of bench grinder and make surface completely flat. If this is not available, you can use papers of different grades. Generally we call it as a polish papers, or you can use emery papers. Turn the specimen through 90° and using emery paper go on polishing. The specimen consequently with these grade papers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, each time turning the specimen through 90 degree while switching over the next emery paper. The emery paper is having different grades, so for that using 4 to 5 different graded emery papers is suitable for proper grinding, moving from rough to finish, that is coarse to fine. So grinding can be distinguished into two parts, that is coarse grinding and fine grinding. The purpose of the coarse grinding stage is to generate the initial flat surface necessary for the subsequent grinding and polishing step. Once the material is cut and mounted onto the mount, the levels or scratches will be there on the surface of specimen. So in order to maintain the level, that is in order to make the surface flat and remove the scratches, the first process is coarse grinding. Coarse grinding can be accomplished either wet or dry using 80 to 180 grit electrically powered disc or belt. Care must be taken to avoid significant heating of the sample. So in order to reduce heat generated during the machining, the low cutting speed is employed. Grinding belt material is usually made up of silicon carbon paper. For every change in the grade, rotate the specimen by 90 degree. Grinding, each grinding stage removes the scratches. This is more easily achieved by orienting the specimen perpendicular to scratches. Means if you are taking number of steps in fine grinding, like in general 240, 320, 400 and 600 grit papers are generally used for fine grinding. In that case, if you are using first 240 and then 320, then angle of grinding should be perpendicular for 240 and 320. Likewise, in 320 and 400, the angle will be perpendicular, same as for 600. Between each grade, the specimen is washed thoroughly with soapy water to prevent contamination from coarser grit present on the specimen surface. So, abrasive belt grinder can also be used for fine grinding. Different grade of silicon carbon paper are rolled on rollers which rotate at a specific speed. The specimen is then removed from one end to another in a uniform fashion. When shifting to a different grade, the specimen is rotated by an angle of 90 degree. So, emery paper, which is a grayish black form of corundum containing iron oxide or other impurities, is used in form of powder form as an abrasive made from milled emery rock, bonded or sized to paper with an enamel glue from water resistance. The different courses to fine are as shown in the figure. So these are some examples with a coarse to fine ratio. These are the grades and used for restoration work, rough work, likewise going to final smoothing. The next step is polishing. Polishing involves the use of abrasive suspended in water solution or cloth covered electrically powered wheel. In intermediate polishing, silicon carbon paper of different grade are used. Again, the specimen is rotated while swinging from one grade to another grade. The operation is carried out on a disc with a sandpaper stretched across it. So basically, polishing in metallography and in metallurgy, Polishing is used to create a flat, defect-free surface for examination of metal's microstructure under a microscope. Polishing is the process of creating smooth and shiny surface by rubbing. So, if you consider, this is a workpiece. Okay, in order to generate a smooth and shiny surface, it has to be rubbed on a smooth cloth, leaving the surface with significant specular reflections. Polishing is the most important step in preparing the specimen for microstructural analysis. It is the step which is required to completely eliminate previous damaged surface. Polishing removes the artifacts of grinding but very little stock. The polishing can be conducted by manually or some mechanized process can be used. Manual polishing is done by rotating the specimen by hand against the cloth that has been charged with fine abrasive and appropriate liquid, and then has been stretched across a flat baking surface. Diamond, aluminum oxide and magnesium oxide are the abrasives most commonly used for polishing. In mechanized process, less time is consumed during the polishing. In here, a disc is located over the motor and is rotated at a low speed in a horizontal plane. Then the specimen is held against the working surface of the wheel and is rotated slowly in the direction opposite to that of wheel. So, this is a mechanized process where you can control the speed of this disc by using this knob. The material used for this disc is a velvet material, and coolant can be used in order to reduce the heat generated during the polishing. Over this cloth we can add diamond or aluminum or magnesium oxide as a abrasive material. So, following the final 600 grit fine grinding stage, which was in grinding, the sample must be washed and carefully dried before the proceeding to the first polishing stage. So, initially you have to wash and dry carefully the specimen before going for first polishing stage. Beginning with 25 micron suspended aluminum oxide particles on a nylon cloth, the fine grinding surface layer resulting from the previous grinding procedure should be completely removed with a rotation rate of 150 to 200 rpm. So, with different grades of oxides available in the market, using one by one we can go for polishing steps. After first step, wash the specimen and move to the finer suspended particles on separate cloth. So, going forward for 1 micron suspended aluminum oxide or diamond particles should be carried out on a separate polishing wheel at a slower speed of 100 to 150 rpm using napped cloth. After 1 to 2 minutes, a properly polished specimen should have a mirror-like surface free from scratches. So, the grinding and polishing procedure for a steel sample is given below. This can be considered as a sample process, that is for rough fine grinding, rough polishing, fine polishing. This is done by emery papers with different grades, and then by using this 5 to 25 micron aluminum oxide and 1 micron aluminum oxide using lubricant as a distilled water. Okay. Cloth can be nylon or velvet. The next and the last process before microscopic observation is a etching process. In etching, metallographic etching is the process of revealing the microstructural details that would otherwise not be evident on the as polished sample. Though the surface is looking as a polished, there will not elaborate or evolve the microstructural details in that. So we require etching process. Properties revealed by the etching are grain size segregation. The specimen after polishing needs to be properly washed and cleaned with distilled water. After properly drying, the etching reagent is applied by various methods. There are different etching reagents or different types of etching processes can be applied on that dried surface. Etching process should be selectively to the material that has to be removed. So types of the etching are chemical etching, electrolytic etching, heat tinting. So in etching process, if you consider these figures, polished but unetched surface gives a clean image but no details about the microstructure of the specimen. So the first image gives polished surface but unetched surface. So it will not give microstructural of specimen. So second is etched surface. When the specimen has grains with same orientation, only the grain boundaries are visible. If the grains are having same orientation, then boundaries will be visible, and this is the etched surface. But when the specimen has grain oriented differently, each grain react differently to varying colors, means you may observe different colors for different grain orientations. So what is chemical etching? This is the only procedure mostly used in the industries for microscopic observation. It is the oldest and most commonly applied technique. Etchant reacts with the specimen without the use of any external current applied. Etching processed by selective dissolution according to the electrochemical characteristics of the constituents. Proper selection of the etchant and etching time is the most important criteria which are determined experimentally and is given by ASTM E407 standard practice for micro etching metals and alloy. Here in this chemical etching process, you have to just apply the reagent on the surface of specimen. It will directly reveal the orientation of grains. There is no extra supply, power supply or current supply is required in this process. Microstructure obtained is decided by etchant and etching time. So in low carbon steel, these are the different types of etchants used. This is a 2% ethyl, it is a 4% picrel and etched with Berard's reagent. So if you observe the last diagram here, grain with different orientation is observed, and here a few grains are visible with grain boundaries. Although 2% ethyl is more good, better than picrel. So different types of etchant for different materials can be used with etching time. This is a sample. If you use etchant for 30 minutes, if you use the etchant for 90 minutes, and if you use the etchant for 240 minutes, different colors can be observed. Electrolytic etching is similar to the electrolysis process, where anodic etching, electrically potential is applied to the specimen using external circuit. During electrolytic etching, positive metal ions leaves the specimen surface and diffuses to electrolyte. Typical examples are platinum, graphite and stainless steel. Heat tinting. This is mostly employed process in the furnace, where oxidation of surface carried out by using the heat, which reveals various features. Coloration of the surface takes place at different rate according to the reaction characteristics of different elements. The observed interference color allows the differentiation of phases and grains. That means if we heat the sample and if it undergoes oxidation, different colors are evolved with differentiation of phase and grains. So final step, after etching process, the specimen needs to be washed again in distilled water to remove any excess reagent present on it. Then if not washed under the microscopic observation, there might be aberrations in the color of the sample. Also, slow and continuous reaction for a long time may takes place, because of which we cannot use the sample for proper microscopic observation. So cleaning can also be done by placing the drop of spirit and drying it. And next, after washing, it can be dried using low power blower. Finally, this specimen is ready for observation under microscope. So in final step, you have to remove the specimen from etching material and then it is thoroughly washed and dried. Okay. For drying and cleaning, you may use dryer or low speed blower. Also you can use spirit which can be applied on the surface for drying it, which will lead to final observation under microscope. This is the sample of orientation where you can observe the pearlite and ferrite, from which we can decide the percentage pearlite present and percentage pearlite present in a microstructure. Precautions: cleanliness. Okay, as surface is polished, keep the sample free from abrasion. Wear goggles and gloves while handling the chemicals. Do not eat or drink while working in the lab. Throw away the leftover etchants into the sink immediately after using it. Thank you.